Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. So change is one of the hardest things in the world. You've done something for years and years, and you made a living at it, and you were great at it, and then somebody tells you, you know what, I want to change it. You have a new manager, you have a new friend, you have new management, whatever, and they tell you, you know what, you're going to change completely today, and we have a new way of doing it. There's going to be somewhat of a pushback. People will argue, is it better for you to change, or is it better for, to do it how we did for forever? Now, there are people that say, you know what, 20 years ago, we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have computers to what we had today. So we obviously change, we adapt, we have websites, we have media, we have different tools we use to succeed. And then there are people that say, you know what, it's been going good for so long, we're on this one trajectory, let's not ruin things, let's not mess things up, let's not ruin our brand, let's not change everything all at once, because people aren't going to recognize us, and that may hurt us. So you do kind of a cost-benefit analysis. Now, when the Packers hired Matt LaFleur, they knew that Matt LaFleur was a certain type of coach. They knew that he was a guy who was going to pressure Aaron Rodgers and make him play a certain way, and had his own playbook. And they knew that's why he went through the hiring process, and they thought he'd be good for Aaron Rodgers. They used a cost-benefit analysis, and they said, you know what, we can change Aaron Rodgers for the better. Now, Aaron Rodgers, he's had some pushback. He's now reporting that, the coach is not allowing him, Matt LaFleur is not allowing him to change plays at the line. Now, is this best for Aaron Rodgers? It's going to take him a while. He's 36 years old. He only has 2-3 years even left in the league, people are saying, because of his injuries, because he's just banged up. His skills are diminishing. What Aaron Rodgers has always been was a guy who relied on his skill set. Now he can't rely on it. He used to have to rely on his athleticism. He could stay in the pocket and fling the ball, but he used to rely on his just physical skill. He's a gunslinger, and he can change some plays at the line. Aaron Rodgers has dealt with injuries after injuries after injuries. And now I think Matt LaFleur is just trying to bring him to a quarterback that's more of a pocket passer. Because Aaron Rodgers, his first option, if he doesn't see something he likes, is just to free ball it. Is to be like, you know what, I'm going to rely on my skills and my athleticism. Now he can't rely on his athleticism as he could before because, well, he's getting old. He's getting injured. And I think Matt LaFleur, this year is going to be a little bit of a struggle. Aaron Rodgers has played a certain way for 12 years of his career, and he's going to have to change. That's what happened with Matt Stafford. He played one way his entire career. He was a gunslinger, kind of like Aaron Rodgers, kind of like a lot of quarterbacks. He was told his entire career, you can do it. There's two types of quarterbacks that are coached and said, okay, we're going to make the best play. And then there are quarterbacks where the coach trusts to be like, you know what, do anything. And that's what Matt Stafford was like a lot. And last year we saw him really struggle. Yeah, new offensive coordinator, Jim Buckcooter, a new defensive coordinator or head coach, Matt Patricia, who wanted to do things one way. And Matt Stafford, his entire career, was the only good person on the team, him and Calvin Johnson. He just said it was mostly just, hey, get it to Calvin Johnson and we'll be good. But for the past couple of years, he didn't have that, and now he's starting to struggle, and now he's going to have to start to use the playbook, actually, and do some certain plays. Aaron Rodgers is going to have to adjust to that. He's going to have to say, you know what, now we don't have a lot of offensive weapons, kind of like the Lions did. He doesn't have his trusty steed anymore. Jordy Nelson gone, Randall Cobb gone, and now all the new wide receivers that are coming in, they don't have that relationship with Aaron Rodgers, so you're going to have to start building that relationship. These wide receivers, it's young wide receivers, it's going to take them a while to start adjusting into how Aaron Rodgers plays. Offense is about choreographing. It's not about, just ground pound and try to beat the other team. It's not about aggression. It's about smarts. It's about wit. It's about finding the best play available and kind of just executing. Yeah, the offense is not about just, it'll work. And I think Matt LaFleur is trying to build this offense for years to come. Now, they're going to take a hit this year. I think they will take a pretty big hit this year. And I don't really mind that because they have young, growing defensive players that are a couple years away. But right now, I think they're building for a future. Matt LaFleur is not looking at, long term. He's trying to build a relationship with Aaron Rodgers so we can trust him. Matt LaFleur is trying to build trust with Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to back down. I thought he would back down. I thought he'd just be like, you know what? Let's just have it how it is, and let's do it. But Aaron Rodgers is at the point in his career where he's played a certain way his entire life, and he's relied on his skill set, and he's relied on kind of just the players around him, and he's relied on his own abilities. And now it's kind of like, whoa, my skills are diminishing, and we have to do some things a certain way, and there are new guys coming in. So it's a whole bunch of things that are coming in. People are saying, Aaron Rodgers is with the pushback. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to start to realize that his skills are diminishing, that he's not the player he used to be. There's always old people that want to keep on driving. They want to drive until they're 90, and then they finally hit something, and then they realize, oh shit, I just killed somebody. My grandpa's 93 years old, and he just started recently taking Ubers everywhere and started not driving. Because you're a danger to yourself and everyone else. With quarterbacks, you're a danger to your own team if you think that your ability is going to be able to go. Brett Favre did this at the end of his career. He thought he was still the guy who can gunsling. I know he faded very slowly, but towards the end of his career, he realized that he couldn't do it anymore. And he realized, he didn't have the abilities. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to have to start accepting that he's not the quarterback he was. Quarterbacks like Tom Brady, they've evolved. Quarterbacks, Eli Manning has had a lot of offensive coordinator changes and a lot of head coaching changes. There have been a lot of old quarterbacks that realized, Peyton Manning, he realized he wasn't the gunslinger over his past couple years, so he took a little bit off, and he started to, change. They started to change the offense so it best fit his skill set. Matt LaFleur is trying to do that with Aaron Rodgers. He's trying to be like, you know what? Even though you don't see it now, your skill set's starting to diminish a little bit, and we can't risk your injury. We can't risk you opting out for a play where you switch out and you run all the way to the side and you make a miraculous play, because that's where you get hurt. We now have a better offensive line to protect you, and we need to build some relationship with your wide receivers, and that's what I think is going on with Green Bay. I don't really put much into it. I think they're going to struggle a lot, especially in the beginning of the year, because these guys are new, and Aaron Rodgers is going to have to realize that he only has 2-3 years left, and he has to be a little bit more patient. He tried to go for it for the last couple years. He tried to turn on playoff mode, and like LeBron, playoff mode didn't really work last year because this team wasn't good. The defense is getting better. You need to give him some more offensive weapons so he develops some camaraderie with them. He has 2-3 years left, and he's obviously a Hall of Fame quarterback, and this division is going to be really, really hard. And you have to take it year by year. You have the Bears, the Vikings, who can be good again this year. The Lions, who Matt Stafford is in the second year under the Matt Patricia system. Time will only tell how it works. I think Matt LaFleur is a brilliant offensive mind from Tennessee, and he knows how to make Aaron Rodgers play, because the only reason why they would hire Matt LaFleur is because he knew how to make Aaron Rodgers great. If backing down was the best thing for Aaron Rodgers, I believe that they would have told him, whoever their management is. I know the fans are pretty much the owners of the team, but whoever hired Matt LaFleur, they would have been like, you know what, you need to coach him. Do what you do. And if they didn't trust in his abilities to coach Aaron Rodgers, they wouldn't have brought him on. He's a really good offensive mind. They're going to struggle a little bit, but that's only a part of development. Aaron Rodgers is going to need to learn to be like, you know what, I can actually learn from somebody. This guy has been, even though he's young, he's a brilliant mind, like Sean McVay. We just need to work together, and you and me are all we got. We need to get on the same page. Even though Aaron Rodgers thinks Matt LaFleur is going to hold him back, I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have to realize that he solely cannot overtake the game anymore eventually. He's going to have to be a game manager. He's going to have to develop these guys and help these guys, and for now, he's not going to be able to, for the first couple of games at least, start opting out of plays, because this offense, I don't think, is ready to do all these fancy magical things. Life is always about setting a tone. When you get into an office, you need to set the expectations in right away. Who are you? What are your habits? What are you going to do? Right now, Matt LaFleur is saying, you know what, this is the type of coach I'm going to be. And you like it or you don't. Aaron Rodgers is going to the media like he always does and starts complaining because he thinks now he's empowered. He was kind of silent in the beginning of his career about certain things. He wasn't that petty. But now now he's enabled and he thinks he knows everything. I think Matt LaFleur is just trying to humble him a little bit and say, you know what, we have to make this work. And this is the way I think it's going to be. I think he should be more stringent and, put his foot down and say, this is the way things are going to be. You're not the team, Aaron Rodgers. Now we have a team behind you. We have a defense. Defense wasn't good since 2011. Now they have Rashawn Gary, Josh Jackson, Adrian Amos. They have Darnell Savage that they drafted. They have an all-pro linebacker, and Preston Smith. They have a bunch of players that, it's not. This is not a B team anymore. This is a team where they can be successful. And Matt LaFleur is saying, you know what? We need you to be a man, and we need you to be a team player. This is not your team. This is our team. And I don't blame Matt LaFleur for taking this stance. You have to realize who you are. After a while, after you've been driving for 80 years in your life and you don't know that you can't do anymore, you don't want to let some things go. And Matt LaFleur is trying to protect Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't want him to opt into plays that he'll just throw it to any random person. This may hurt Aaron Rodgers because he's played the same way his entire career, and he's going to have a little bit of an adjustment period. You also don't want him to stay in a play where he ends up getting hurt because he sees a blitz and he doesn't pick it up. Now you have a great offensive line, which should help, but I think you should allow Aaron Rodgers to switch into some plays, but you should also say, this is how we do it, this is what we do, and you're going to have to change a little bit. And this is the first signs that Aaron Rodgers isn't the quarterback that he used to be. This is a new NFL. These are new rules. Sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks. The Packers didn't bring him in for no reason. If they wanted to bring in a classic old guy, they would have started targeting Bruce Arians. They would have started targeting some old guy, some guy who's just going to allow Aaron Rodgers to do his own thing. There's a reason why they brought Matt LaFleur in, and that's because, like LeBron James and like a lot of Peyton Manning at the end of his career, he can no longer lift this team up to the next level. We saw that over the past 2 years. Aaron Rodgers is going to show glimpses, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, he can do it. He can still do it like he did before. But as far as being a long-term success of this team, I don't think he can do it. Let's look at their wide receiver core, because I think it's really interesting. Davante Adams, Marquez Valdez-Scalding, Geronimo Allison, and Equanimus St. Brown. Now, if this is the wide receiver core that's going to win, Super Bowls, well, the wide receiver core doesn't really win Super Bowls, but these guys are really young and they're really inexperienced. Look at these guys' ages. You have Davante Adams, who's a little bit of a veteran that he can go to, and then it's 24, 25, 22. These guys are young. These aren't experienced veterans. These aren't guys where it's just like Aaron Rodgers is going to have right away have a click with them and be like, you know what, these guys can, when it comes down to it, he reads them, kind of like that play against the Cowboys. Aaron Rodgers knew that, I think it was Davante Adams or Randall Cobb at that point. He knew that he was going to be right there and he could trust them. Aaron Rodgers can't really trust anybody as far as offensively, and Matt LaFleur is trying to transition him to the new point in his career. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to slowly but surely get a little bit frustrated with it, and we'll see whether he quits on the team, kind of like Brett Favre, or whether he just owns who he is and realizes who he is. We'll see. I think it's going to be really interesting. Let me know what you guys think about the whole Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur situation. Do you think Matt LaFleur is just a dumb coach that should just stick back where Aaron Rodgers does his thing? Or do you think Matt LaFleur should almost try to protect Aaron Rodgers from himself because he doesn't really know what he's doing, quote unquote? Or you think if you think Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback that he always was and just trust him and just allow him be who he is because he was not who he is? I mean, even quarterbacks like Tom Brady said, once I'm not the quarterback that I am, I'll just retire. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is close to feeling that way. Aaron Rodgers wants to win, and if he feels like he could be winning and he's not winning, it hurts him inside because all he wants to do is compete. I mean, all last season he just competed, even though he shouldn't have. Then that's just what the $33 million contract is. It enables you. It thinks that you're supposed to be the guy who lifts the entire team, and sometimes that's not necessary. All in all, I think that Matt LaFleur, it's going to be a tough thing to adjust to quarterback who's been playing the same way his entire life, and it's gonna be really hard, especially for a rookie coach. He's never been in the position like this ever, and being in a position like this, he's gonna have to give some to Aaron Rodgers, maybe have 2 or 3 plays at the start, the line of scrimmage, that he could switch to. not like complete liberation, but at least some liberation, because that will make Aaron Rodgers better. In the end, you have to click with your quarterback. You have to click together, because that's what makes the team. If that we saw that with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. Like, if things don't click, then people do things out of spite. You don't trust. You don't go into a play with 100% confidence. And Aaron Rodgers is not going to play up to the ability that he's always had. He's used to playing a certain way. Quarterbacks like Matthew Stafford, and he had to be more cerebral and more at the line. That wasn't him. That wasn't Matt Stafford. And this whole thing with, sticking to the play, it's not really Aaron Rodgers. We saw with Jared Goff this upcoming year that Jared Goff is a complete system quarterback. Sean McVay made him. Jared Goff can't opt out of plays, So Matt LaFleur would have worked with Jared Goff, but not with a guy like Aaron Rodgers. But then again, there is a reason why Green Bay bought this guy, and he thought he could work with Aaron Rodgers. And we'll see. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough adjustment, but it's going to be interesting, and that's why I love the NFL. Anyway, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like rating. What was the Packers record going to be this year? I think around 9 wins. Or maybe 10. They can even win the division. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.